Thank you. Hello, everyone. Hello. My name's Pat Vale, and I'm going to talk to you today about how I believe drawing is my superpower, but maybe not in the way that you expect it to be. So, drawing has been a friend to me since I was a child. It's the vehicle in which I express myself, I learn about the world, and I connect with places, but also with people. This is a drawing that I did in 1993 when I was 13 years old. So I'm showing my age a little bit here, and it's not good. And even at that age, I was really, I was going to say interested, but I think obsessed is probably the right word, in depicting cities and cityscapes in the urban environment. And at the time, my dad was coming over here to America, and he on business trips, and he would take photographs for me of the American cities he visited, and then he'd bring them back, and I would like scurry off and get them developed, and then I would just devour these photos and make these drawings. There was something about the American city that was just very different to what I was seeing in England, and I just felt compelled to make drawings of it. So yeah. Oh, it's also funny. I don't know why they did this in school, but they made you like stick labels on the front of your work and write. Anyway, I don't know. And also my signature's quite funny. So I'm a very sensitive person, and I get very anxious, and I've suffered with anxiety and panic attacks all my life, and just about keeping on the straight and narrow right now. But so drawing helps me to manage these moments, right? And I've developed this kind of way of doing that. I don't leave my studio without a sketchbook, and I've got one on me now. And, you know, even on the subway on the way here, I made a few drawings. It's become like a shield for me, and I get these kind of, my anxiety kicks in, and this is going to sound really funny, but it's kind of my reality, so it's just normal for me, but like, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, right? Great movie if you haven't seen it. So if I'm on a subway and it's busy, I can feel overwhelmed. If I'm in a taxi, I don't know, I just don't like it. And busy sports venues, not good. So what I do is I make drawings, right? So this is a drawing I did in the back of a taxi in Chicago. It was absolutely hammering it down with rain. And you know when you can't really see out the window, it was that, you know, and it was very nerve-wracking. So I just scribble these drawings. These drawings aren't about, you know, trying to make a good drawing. It's about just getting me through that moment where I feel a little, I call it like the wibbly wobblies, like, which sounds silly, I know, but it just allows me to kind of navigate that moment. Another one here, another taxi. This time, I'm sure you're all familiar with the ride out to JFK on the BQE. You know, it's nighttime, we're going really fast, so many potholes. I did this drawing in the dark, so I couldn't really see what I was doing. Again, it just got me through that moment. And so over the years, this is just a few of them. Like, I've now got a collection of drawings that I've made in the back of taxis. And the funny thing is now I actually kind of look forward to getting, you know, in like a medium to long taxi ride because I get to make one of these drawings. And that's cool. Like, I've turned around like something that's a negative experience for me, like into something I look forward to. It doesn't work all the time. I'm still a work in progress, but, you know, for the most part. And again, it's not about the quality of the drawing. That's irrelevant to me because some of them are terrible. Most of them are terrible. Oh, and then, so over the years, I've like, not only in taxis, like wherever I am, wherever I travel to, subways, you know, I'm just always scribbling away, making drawings. So here's a few of them. And then they live in these books. This is just a fraction of them. And again, they're not related to anything that I do in my studio or commercially. It's just books that I do for myself. To help me navigate life, I guess, and I really treasure them. I post them on Instagram here and there, but really they're just for me. Some of my books. Let's move that forward. Oh, sorry, yes, okay. So drawing also helps me make sense of the world and more specifically, like when I moved to New York 10 years ago, right? The first thing I did, let's just play that film while I'm talking. One of the first things I did when I got here was I went up a very tall building. I think it was the top of the Rockefeller, and I spent a very cold day up there, and I did lots of drawing, and then I made some videos, and then I went back to, I rented like a small apartment, and I set up a desk, and I made this drawing in about 3 weeks when I wasn't working on stuff I should have been working on. And what's cool, the reason I do this is it just helps me connect with a city, with a place, right? And I can, I don't know, like even today, I did this drawing 10 years ago. I cycle a lot, and I still recognize rooftops and strange details on buildings, and I feel like I'm, weaving in and out of the drawing. It helps me connect with a new place, or at least like the start of connecting, right? It's the first thing for me to do. And it's it's a cheesy view of New York, but it was still fun to draw. And there's new buildings I know have gone up, and actually, you can't actually see the Chrysler building from this vantage point, so I kind of moved things around, but that's what you can do. So drawing also allows me to reach out and connect with people, and a few speakers today have spoken about COVID, but I found myself, to be honest, I don't really get out much anyway, and I spend a lot of time in my studio, so I was kind of okay in COVID, apart from all my projects disappearing. But what I did do was I reached out. I thought, it'd be really fun to talk to people. So I just put it out on Instagram that I'd like to connect with anyone in New York. If you want, can I draw you? And I was shocked. People said yes. And so I ended up drawing about and speaking to about 125 people. Sometimes it would be for 5 minutes, sometimes it would be for longer. And here's some of the drawings. And then I would kind of note down or pull out funny things they said or poignant things they said. Let's just move that on. Yeah, so for example, Kim, she couldn't wait to dance with her friends again, right? And Dominique, she drew me as well. You can see her drawing. So we were drawing each other. She shared with me that she grew up on 5th near the Guggenheim, and that her dad was a famous hairdresser and did Jackie Kennedy's hair at her wedding. So I thought that was pretty cool. I just got these like surprising vignettes into people's lives and people's stories just through drawing, right? Like, it's really disarming. I'm not there with a camera in someone's face. I can, you have eye contact with the person while you're scribbling away. I don't really look at the paper. And then, this is funny. Paige told me about a time she got robbed, actually near where I live. It wasn't me, but she got robbed, and the assailant felt really bad and gave her his MTA card so she could get home, but still kept her money. Anyway, so I, just random funny stories. And then at the time, I don't know if you remember, there was a snowy owl that appeared in Central Park, and I'm a bit of an owl fan, and so the snowy owl appeared in the book. I didn't get to talk to the owl, unfortunately, but I think it stayed for a few weeks. And then continuing on with my fondness of New York wildlife, Clara told me about some horrific stories involving rats and bedbugs, and anyway, yeah, I'm sure we all know about that. So that, kept me busy in COVID. So drawing assists me in the day-to-day. It allows me to kind of connect with the places that I am and the people that live in these places. And then something unexpected happened where I was able to kind of put all of these pieces together. I went to my first baseball game at the Mets here in New York, and I was with some mates, and they were having beers and enjoying hot dogs and, the baseball, whatever. I was feeling really nervous because there was loads of people there, so I was just drawing. And I did this really bad drawing, and I put it on Instagram. And then I got contacted by this chap. This is Ian Happ. He's an outfielder at the Chicago Cubs. And Ian saw that drawing, And then I think he probably saw some of my other stuff. And he said, hey, do you want to come to Chicago? I have an idea. I said, sure, why not? So he got me out there and met him at Wrigley. And bear in mind, I know nothing about baseball, right? Like, I don't know one end of the bat from the other. I know they wear like a big hand and they cannot catch the ball with it. That's all I know. So Ian was like, yeah, you like baseball? I was like, sure. Anyway, he said to me, I love this place. I love Chicago. I love this club. I have these moments during games where I'm looking out. Obviously, he's concentrating, but like he's like, oh, this is just amazing. I'm in this iconic, historic ballpark. I wish the fans could see what I can see during games. And he said to me, do you think you'd be able to draw from my perspective during a game? I said, yeah. And then in my head, I was going, no, what have you just said yes to? And so I just thought, okay, you can do this. Just do what you do. Start drawing. So I went to lots of games, and I, started learning, I guess, observing the ritual of a day, of a game. And so, these kids, just hoping that they could get a signature on their ball, I just found really sweet. And, just this a little video. Just me kind of being, warding off my anxiety, but just scribbling away and soaking up that atmosphere. And then observing people that work at these places, right? This man here, the way that his fingers gripping that roll of money just really struck me. Like, he's clearly been doing that forever. And then, let's move that one. Yeah, so what I love about Wrigley, do you all know Wrigley Field? Or are familiar with it? It's like this, it's a bit, back home in England, Lord's Cricket Ground is like the home of cricket, right? So any cricket fan would want to go there, and I feel like Wrigley's similar in that if you're a baseball fan, you've got to go and try and have a game, watch a game there. And what I love about it is that it really is in that community, and you're in the bleachers. See, this is the thing. I say all the wrong terms, and I'm in the ballpark. But you can see into people's houses, right? It's in the neighborhood. And it really feels like an extension of people's houses, and that people meet up before the games and catch up with family and friends. It was just lovely. It's a lovely place to draw. And then I learned a bit about the roller coaster history of the club, of the Cubs. Very much a roller coaster. And then I spoke to people. Yeah, so I spoke to Jack. Like, his first game that he went to is in '57, and he works there now. Like, he talks to silly artists like me. And I then spoke to, there he is, Jeff. So Jeff, he misses like 10 home games a season, right? That's a lot of games, like hundreds. And I asked him about his connection to the club, and it was all because of his grandmother. His grandmother would take him, and then his mum would take him, and then he still stands. His grandmother sadly passed, but he stands in that same left field bleacher position, right? Because he feels connected to his grandmother when he's there. And I loved hearing these stories. And so when I did the drawings for Ian, let's just move this on, I kind of wanted to express or convey like my respect and love that these people feel for this club, and these kind of family connections that they all have, and friendship. So I picked like the thinnest pen I could find, and I didn't almost draw every blade of grass, but I nearly did. And so I made these huge drawings. This is when Ian's in the dugout looking out, and there's that one. And then we did, this one. This is when he's coming around, he's done the home run, and he's going to get a grand slam, right? It's a walk-off home run. And it was very funny, though, because Ian and I, and his brother Chris, who's a lovely guy, what was cool is this project was just us three, right? And that's quite rare for that to happen. But it was funny, like, I don't know if when you do your homework and then you get it back the next day or whenever it is, and your teacher's like, put all the red pen on it. It was very much like that with Ian and Chris, because I was like moving players around because it looked better. And Ian was like, no, that person doesn't stand there. So, anyway. we got there in the end, and then there's, this one. That's before he's about to hit a Grand Slam, a home run. Anyway, so yeah, it was a lovely thing to be involved with. And just move it on. And then one more. Okay, so I'm just going to bring it back to this drawing, because 13-year-old me would never have imagined that 30-something, years later, I would be in Chicago, and I would be learning about like this iconic venue within the city, and my kind of guides were, like an actual player of the team, and also, people from the city. It would have blown my mind. And so I would encourage all of you to, if you have a passion or a hobby, please just keep it up, like even if it's 5 minutes a day, and allow it to let you in your day-to-day, but also connect with the world. Thank you very much.